Hi, Melinda here with your latest installment to Read Along with Vickie Wednesdays. Stay tuned. Okay, so today let's start with Reading Vickie by Mike Sims. Mike Sims is my husband. I have permission to read this book to you. Okay, today we're going to do the chapter starting with the first day. Vickie arrives for her first day of work at a new job at Kingsway Marketing. CEO Stan King is a colorful man who has been on the news a time or two for his eccentric promotions. He caters not to big companies but mid to small companies that don't mind a little embarrassment in advertisements. King has plenty of embarrassments to share. Vickie has summer interned before a week or two for others, but for some reason this company caught her eye. As she approaches the security desk, she is sent up to the 5th floor, where she is to meet the director of marketing, John Taylor, for this small but seemingly successful company. John, are you Miss Newsom? Vickie. Please, Vickie. Yes, I am. Vickie, welcome to Kingsway, where we do things Kingsway. John Kingsway, that is. I am John Taylor, the director here. I more or less implement what is decided here. Let me show you around. Oh, and please call me John. Mr. Taylor makes me feel old. Vickie smiles as John shows her bathrooms to break rooms and tells her briefly the most important policies out of the 100 she and no one else will ever remember in the employee handbook. Here, Ra introduces her to various people working here and there until they arrive at King's door. John, this is Mr. King's office. Before we go in, I have to warn you, he is kind of unpredictable and a little, rude. Vickie, no problem, Mr. Taylor. John takes a breath and knocks on the door. A deep bellow rings out. Come on in! John and Vickie walk in the large office that has Stan's desk to one side near a corner and a small conference table on the other side of the room. Vickie pans around the room quickly as she sees plaques with golf hole-in-one awards, mounted deer heads, as well as pictures of Stan and buddies from days long past. Stan gets up and walks over as John says, Mr. King, this is Vickie Newsom, our new marketing research intern. Stan approaches, extending his hand, and Vickie smiles, shaking his hand. Nice to meet you, sir. Stan, sir, we need to work on that, and a strong handshake. Feels like I just shook hands with a pro boxer. Vickie, well, I work out and like to beat up boxers. Stan and John look at each other as Stan says, well, all right then. Stan laughs and asks, Vickie, I'm sorry, can I call you that? Vickie barely nods yes as he continues, well, we here at Kingsway like to advertise out of the box, so to speak. We offer everything from straightforward marketing campaigns to shock ones. We are not afraid here to do what it takes to generate human emotion, to think about our clients' products. Stan walks over to his awards and very obviously draws attention to them and his hunting trophies as he gives his King's speech. After he stops standing under a large buck deer, he says, have any questions, dear? Vickie, just one, dear. About your deer. Stan smiles and stands straight, proud of his kill. Vickie, did you kill that deer? Stan looks up at it. Yes, what? Sorry. Stan looks up at it. Why, yes, I did. Did you stalk it or did you sit in a treehouse and shoot it? You know, while it ate corn from your automated feeder? John looks down at the ground as if there is something on the carpet needing attention. Stan stares at Vickie as she has half a grin on her face. Stan, why, Vickie, I shot this animal as it was standing on a small peak. I had been tracking it all day, and it took several shots to bring it down. I had to get several people to help me bring it back. It was so large. Vickie, well then, it was a nice kill. Stan, yes it was. Anyway, welcome aboard, and I look forward to your contributions to my company. Vickie, thank you, sir, for the opportunity. John and Vickie leave Stan's office. John tells Vickie quietly, Mr. King shot the deer in the butt, and it took his guide to kill it. He walked back while they drug the thing back to camp. Vickie laughs, to be expected. John walks Vickie to a small office next to his. We have plenty of space here. This is yours. Your primary job will be to assist me, and God knows I need it. Vickie, overwork you, did they do? John, well, the way it works here is that we as a group will throw out ideas, and Mr. King will say yay or nay, and then expound on the ones he likes. It then comes from his brain for action. We create an action plan based on his thinking, and then it's my job to carry it out. Vickie, so basically a team of people design a marketing campaign on the way that they think Stan would want it. Then he takes one of those ideas he can easily mold into his own and changes it totally. The team takes his idea and then creates a to-do list for you to carry out, right? Pretty much that, and it is Mr. King, not Stan. Any questions? How many interns have you gone through? 7. Outstanding. John shows Vickie where the office supply cabinet is as Vickie prepares her desk. A little later, John asks her to come in his office. Vickie, here is a list of the action items yet to be done on this one campaign. Vickie looks at the paper in his campaign for a small beer distributor. She looks intently at the company being represented and just blanks for a moment. John looks at the paper and back at Vickie. Is there a problem? Vickie breaks her from her gaze. No, not at all. She smiles and says, I will work on the next action item for you now. That would be greatly appreciated. She leaves as John runs his fingers through his hair and takes a deep breath. Wednesday afternoon arrives and Vickie walks into John's office. Vickie, John, here's the paperwork for the action items. John looks at the stack and says, done already on that action item? No, all of them. There were only 3 left. I know, but give yourself some slack. We have weeks to get this done. John thumbs through as Vickie sits down in front of his desk. After about 10 minutes, okay, Vickie, it looks good. Let me come through it more specifically and check it all out. Good work. Vickie smiles and returns to her office. John thinks, Lord, she will have my job soon. Vickie stares out the office window at the street below and thinks, I like this. John walks in with the files to her office and says, they're good, but we have one little issue. Mr. King likes to have them formatted a certain way. We have a template on the server. If you can just format it to that template and reprint them, it would work. And take your time, no rush. No problem. Vickie looks at the files and realizes that she may be too enthusiastic. So she finds the template and copies the data to the correct format. It only takes her the rest of the day, but she acts like it took her all week. The next Monday morning, Vickie is looking up things on the internet to waste time as usual. John comes in. Vickie, are you done making the documents in the right template? Vickie, they're right here. Let me bring them to you. John returns to his office. Vickie brings them in. John says, thanks, Vickie. John, is it always going to be like this? Vickie, one thing you learn is you do things too fast and it becomes expected. Then someday you mess up or do it as fast and you're replaced. You understand? I understand. Sorry, y'all. Got to take a cat break. Come on, son. Be a good boy. John checks the files and takes them to the staff meeting to update Stan and the others where they are at. John returns and says to Vickie, hey, Vickie, Mr. King would like to see you in his office. What for? Not sure, but be polite and remember Mr. King. Vickie leaves to Stan's office and knocks on the door. Come in, bellows from Stan. Vickie, come in and have a seat. Vickie sits down facing Stan as he plays with his mustache rocking back and forth. He has a smug look on his face as he stares at Vickie. He is wearing his two-tone dress shirt that looks like half blue-collar work shirt and half professional executive, and khaki pants to appear hunter-like. He fancies himself to look like Teddy Roosevelt with his dirty blonde hair and freckles. After-shaving cologne battle for dominance, giving the aroma of a turpentine truck that's crashed into a cigar shop. The office is silent with only the sound of the digital clock acting like a mechanical timepiece. He enjoys the uneasy silence, knowing that his employee is held hostage 10 feet away from him with 40 yards of office between them. Stan, you are doing a great job so far. I just wanted you to know that. Thank you, sir. John tells me you diligently got those last 3 action items taken care of and reported in just 1 week. That is fantastic. I know that is probably new person enthusiasm, but all good all the same. Vickie stares and says, just want to get it done. Tell me, could you have done them in 2 days? No, I'm not sure what to do. You know my first assignment. Yeah, but you've interned before and learned this stuff in college. This is normal procedural stuff. Vickie just stares. What I am confused about is the server shows you edited these documents without the template by Wednesday and had them redone on templates by the end of the day. John did not bring them in for us for an update till today. So what happened between the rest of the week? I had to thoroughly check everything, and that took a while. Stan smiles, sits forward, putting his hand together and elbows on his desk. Hell, you had them done in no time at all, and John told you to slow down. How do I know? It's obvious by the server dates on the files, and he's done that with other interns. Vickie has an upset look on his face. Stan, let me let you in on a little secret. John is on his way out. I'm looking to replace him. That is why we have interns to work for him. Learn the ropes? Whoa. Okay, boo-boo. No, no, no. No, no, no. Don't you tear up that chair, boy. Learn the ropes and replace him. However, he manages to run them off after a while. Why don't you just fire him? I would, but I need him until someone can fill his shoes. Are you that person? And if I do, how long before you're asking me, my intern, the same thing? Stan leans back and laughs a little. He starts laughing more and stands up, walking to the window. He looks at Vickie and shakes his finger at her. You have a little personality to you. I like that. Vickie stands. Okay, boo-boo. Come on, boy. Vickie stands up and walks over to Stan and stares in his eyes. I doubt that. Listen here, young lady. There are limits to what I allow my people to talk to me like. I have heard, and it seems to shrink as time goes on. Stan looks upset and then calms and laughs. You are funny like that. I like that. Stan puts his hands on Vickie's shoulders and says, you are going to be just what we need around here. He puts his hands to his sides as Vickie turns her head on his... Vickie puts her hand on his shoulder and says, you know something, Stan? You are just a little boy who likes bullying people around. I can't stand you or the way you smell. So goodbye. I think I need to find somewhere else to work than a low-rent marketing company that caters to the bottom-of-the-barrel industries. Stan's face turns red as he about to erupt, and Vickie makes her way to the door and opens it. By the way, Stan, next time you go hunting, just let the guide shoot it for you. Vickie slams the door behind her as she gets her personal things from her office. Hey, hello? Hello? You can't stay there, boy? Sorry, y'all. I'm going to have to edit that, I think. I don't know. I might leave it. We'll see. John steps in. What happened? Vickie looks at John. He was too critical in my work and said we needed a better intern. John looks on as Vickie leaves. Job. Just over broke. Vickie contacts the next prospect on her list of job opportunities. This one is another small marketing firm, but the CEO is a woman who has had write-ups about her skills in turning this once failing company around. Vickie looks forward to the job as they have interviewed and offered her the opening position. She arrives on the first day as she is given an orientation by Executive Secretary Tina for the CEO, Sandy Thompson. Tina, we have a cubicle for you right here. Miss Thompson will be in this afternoon for Monday's rally. Just follow all the other executives in the conference room when we call for it. Vickie, excuse me, sales exec? I thought I was interning for marketing positions. Tina, you are. We call them sales execs around here. Tina gives her a big fake smile and scurries off to her desk to check her makeup with a little mirror. Vickie pans around the other cubicles in room as she hears the constant chatter of other sales executives on the phone soliciting advertisement space for local TV and radio. It has become very apparent that she had just settled to an inside sales phone job. However, she reads the company's policies and guide to the workplace book on her desk. The morning drones on as administrative people hand out sheets on each cubicle desk to each person. Vickie looks at the papers as they talk about new accounts sold, as well as quotes from famous motivational speakers. Vickie says out loud to herself, I just died and went to work hell. The person next to her is Jim, and he overhears her saying, hell, oh no, that is later. He smiles and continues back on the phones. Tina comes by and tells Vickie, Vickie, you will be trained on the phones today, and we will get you an assigned call list and dialogue sheet here so you can start selling tomorrow. Vickie, dialogue sheet? Tina, yes, it is a sheet with the various ways to talk to customers to sell our ad time. Vickie has smiles and nods. Yes, as Tina gives her a big smile and walks back to her desk. Lunchtime arrives and everyone, like a herd of buffalo, will leave at the same time, head to the break room floor or sandwich place in the building on the first floor. Vickie slowly takes her smoothie to the break room and sits down. Everyone is disassociative and focuses on eating their lunch, constantly looking at the clock. Vickie just smiles back when one of them catches her looking. 5 minutes till the lunchtime is over. Everyone cleans up, leaves back to their cube as efficient as a military drilled soldier. Vickie slowly stands up and says, did I get hired or drafted? It's 1 o'clock and the IT person comes by to teach her how to log in on her phone. IT tells her that they measure the amount of calls she makes, time spent, and calls back the same numbers. Every week they will post on the corkboard everyone's phone efficiency times. He advises to make sure you are not at the bottom. Vickie, why? What happens if you're on the bottom? IT, just don't be there. He leaves and Vickie stares at the phone. 2:00 rolls around and the CEO, Sandy, has arrived. She is tall, strong-looking, very confident, has long dark hair, and storms into her office straight away. The general volume of people talking on the phone increases, as well as speed now. About 30 minutes later, over the speaker, Tina announces 3:00 sales exec meeting. Vickie just watches the CEO pace and talk on the speakerphone until it's meeting time. About 5 minutes before the meeting, the salespeople cut their phone call short and start shuffling to the conference room. Vickie follows behind them, finding a seat in the back. The room is very quiet as everyone waits. Tina comes in with handouts, passing to everyone. Vickie looks down and is the latest call results from the sales execs for the previous week. A few minutes later, Sandy walks in saying, "Sorry guys, I had to fix an issue with one of our clients." She makes her way to the front. "Okay, you all have your numbers. Good effort last week. Only one person fell down on the job, and that was you, Frank. Can you stand up and tell us what happened?" An old, heavy-set Frank stands up, looks around, and all the others stare at him like a leper. Frank, well, I had a run of customers that were stonewalling me the whole week, but today is much better. Sandy, anyone else get stonewalled? Everyone sits like statues, slightly shaking their heads no. Sandy, no one else had a problem, Frank. Go ahead and come sit in the chair of shame. Frank makes his way to the front and faces everyone. Sandy, why do we even need this chair? If everyone did their job consistently, we would get rid of it. Anyway, you have the numbers. Let's see if we can get them a little better this week. Today we have a new sales exec. Vickie, is it? Vickie stands up. That is right. Tina whispers a few things in Sandy's ear. Sandy, Vickie comes straight from the university and received high marks there. I'm sure she is going to show some of you old brooms how a new broom can sweep like. Welcome aboard, Vickie. Vickie, thank you, ma'am. Vickie sits down, totally baffled by what she is witnessing. Sandy, now several of you have been taking sick days lately. From my understanding, it is summer and not flu season. I know this is a stressful job, but you get paid 2% commission on top of pay. So if you can't handle it, leave. There are plenty of people who would be proud to have an air conditioning job with lots of income potential, and all they have to do is talk on the phone. Damn, people, we're not 911 operators here. We're just selling ad space. Sandy walks around with an amazed look of disgust on her face. I know you've heard it before, but this is for Vickie's benefit. I used to do what you're doing right now, and holy shit, I was good at it. I sold more than any other execs, and you know why? Not because I'm pretty, the customers can't see me on the phone, not because I have the voice of a rock star. It is that kind of grindy, actually. It is because I am not a lazy piece of crap. That's why. I know this crap is not going to sell itself. I had to do it. I have a mind to jump on that phone and show you how it's done. I think you guys have what it takes to win big at this game, but your heart for some reason is not always in it. Is it me? Am I so hard on you because I want you to win? Do you hate my guts because I'm the boss and I would never date any losers in a million years? Well, I challenge you to take that hate and turn it into cash. Prove me wrong. Prove to me that you're a success. Vickie is astonished, and a small flame of defiance begins to grow in her. Normally, she would walk away from a nightmare like this, but Vickie feels the need to stay. She watches as Sandy berates the personnel individually, one after another, looking at sales charts. Finally, at the end of the meeting, Sandy walks over to Frank and puts her hand on his shoulder. Sandy, Frank, you are in goober this week. Frank looks down, wiping his head with his hand. Sandy, Johnson, you have goober, don't you? Go get him out of the pen. Johnson steps out a few minutes later, walks in with a goat on a leash. Vickie thinks, what the hell? Johnson walks the goat and hands the leash to Sandy. Sandy grabs the leash and says, well, when you fail, you have to take care of Goober for a week. Frank, the honor is all yours. She hands the leash to Frank as he looks up at Sandy. Sandy smiles back. Okay, guys, go get him. Everyone shuffles out quick as Vickie sits and watches. Frank escorts the goat out to a room it is kept in called the pen, where it has food and water. But at night, the unlucky sales exec has to take the goat home and keep it for a week unless their sales numbers are bad for another week. Usually, most only keep it for a week. Vickie's about to leave when Sandy says, nice to meet you, Vickie. Come to my office. Vickie follows Sandy in her office, and Sandy shuts the door. Vickie looks around. There are no chairs anywhere. Sandy, I would offer you a seat, but I don't like to sit down. I prefer to talk on speakerphone and pace. It helps me think. Good for fitness, too. You look fit. Do you work out? Vickie, I hold several black belts in the martial arts. Excellent. I took some myself at one time. I love running, though. You have had high marks from your college, very high. Solid group participation in college, and you obviously are an achiever. You know, I have managers who manage the other departments, but the sales ones I personally control because it is the most critical. However, I'm thinking that if I ever met the right woman, they could take that over from me. Vickie, woman? You mean person? Vickie smiles. Those guys need a woman to lead them. Look at them. They are mostly all men who miss their mothers. They need someone to parent them all the times. Otherwise, they would not take this abuse. They need a strong woman to guide them. Otherwise, men stray and get lazy from their task. You think you would like to be their guide someday? I'm not sure I could do it as well as you. Nah, you could learn. I tell you, if you get on those phones like I did long ago and prove yourself, you'll be running this crew. Vickie stares at Sandy but offers no body language. Sandy looks at her up and down. Well, that is my motivational speech for you. Any questions? Just one. You really enjoy your job? Sandy smiles. I love it. Vickie nods her head yes and walks out of the office. Vickie sits down on her cube and Jim next to her says, Got to meet the boss, eh? What did she want? Vickie smiles and says, She just wanted to welcome me aboard and officially offered that someday I might could manage you guys. Jim's smiles turn to concern as he quickly gets back to the phone for the next call. Vickie grins to herself and says, Oh boy. The week goes on and Vickie has made calls and sold some ads, but her phone performance has brought her to the bottom of the charts. By Monday afternoon, it is sales exec meeting time and Sandy walks in. Sandy, Will crew, that is much better than, hold on y'all. Sandy, Will crew, that is much better this last week. I am almost impressed. However, we have a new person at the bottom. Vickie, come on up here and sit in the seat of shame. Vickie gets up and proudly walks to sit in the seat of shame. Sandy, I had high hopes for you, Vickie, so you better get it together. Frank, bring Vickie Goober, please. Frank jumps up and quickly retrieves the goat. He hands the leash to Vickie as Sandy says, Okay, back to the phone, you jerks. Sandy smiles at Vickie and Vickie smiles back. Vickie takes the goat to the pen, gets back to the phones. At the end of the day, Vickie puts the goat in her new car and tries to keep it as calm as possible. She sneaks it in and out of her apartment each day. Thursday comes and Vickie asks Tina, Can I see Sandy for a moment? Tina buzzes Sandy and Vickie is welcomed in. Sandy, what can I do for you, Vickie? Vickie, I'm sorry my sales were down. I am new and I know that is not an excuse. Can I show my enthusiasm by bringing up some lunch tomorrow for the guys? Sandy smiles. Well, that is a wonderful idea. Look forward to it. Hope you like potato salad. Vickie leaves in good spirits. The next day at lunch, everyone is called into the break room because Vickie has made them lunch. Everyone was enjoying their variety of vegetables and barbecue. Sandy has a barbecue sandwich and says, Vickie, this is good. You grilled this up? Vickie, yes, I did. Took all evening. Everybody's chowing down as Sandy asks, interesting tasting. What kind of barbecue is this? Vickie says, Goober. The room is dead silent as everyone stops eating and looks at their meat sandwiches. Vickie throws the goat leash on the table as everyone looks at it. Sandy, you're joking, right? Vickie, I never kid about goats. I know it gets your goat, but I quit. Vickie leaves as everyone looks at each other and Sandy stands like a statue. Vickie hums a tune and sings about a goat as she leaves with a smile. I think we're going to stop here. Go have yourself some goober barbecue. Oh, and I live with the man that writes this stuff. It's never dull. Anyway, and we always say it's better to laugh than cry. And the way things are right now, there'd be a lot of crying, so we have to laugh. But go spread love and kindness to everyone, please. Have a great day. I hope you enjoyed this. We'll have one final installment and read about Vickie. Thanks a lot. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Hi, Melinda here. I wanted to add this as an afterthought to those videos. We do not eat goats. I don't own a goat. I think they're pretty darn cute, and I wouldn't let Mike barbecue one anyway. And he wouldn't barbecue one anyway either. It's just fiction, folks. No animals were harmed in the writing of these books. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.